This is way worse than we thought, as heading into a crucial Game 7 for the Winnipeg Jets organization, they will be without one of their best players. And now the fan base is starting to question the goaltending as well. We got to break that down with some shocking stats. And this is a make or break Game 7 for this Winnipeg Jets team. We're going to break it all down in this episode of Hat-Trick HQ. But before we do that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 72% of you who watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening around the league, and of course with the Winnipeg Jets and this crazy series that it has been against the St. Louis Blues, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But Casey, let's get right into it. We are going to touch on Connor Hellebuyck. That is the hot topic of discussion league-wide right now. The guy that could win the Vezina and could be out in the first round in Game 7. We'll touch on that in a few minutes. But first, some somewhat positive news for the Winnipeg Jets, and that is in terms of Mark Scheifele and his status for Game 7. And now Scott Arniel this morning, on Saturday morning, ahead of Game 7 tomorrow night, says that Mark Scheifele feels a lot better today, and he'll be a game time decision for Game 7. So not sure if he's going to be in. It sounds to me, at least, and I want your thoughts on this in a second, but it's sounding to me like he won't play, but there is an opportunity for him to obviously get into the game. He didn't travel, all of that, right? He stayed back for Game 6. And Scott Arniel said that, he will be a game time decision, but he did skate this morning in a tracksuit. I thought that was interesting that he was actually on the ice this morning, getting in some work, getting in some reps, and obviously will be a game time decision. So Casey, do you think he's going to get into the game? Do you think his absence is severely affecting the Winnipeg Jets as well? It's been a weird series, right? Like the home team's won every single game. So, if you're following that pattern, the Jets should win Game 7, but I don't think it's as simple as that.
No, there's no doubt that this is probably the biggest question mark surrounding this Game 7 tomorrow is if Mark Scheifele will be in the lineup or not. And like you said, he didn't travel with the team. He stayed home to rehab and try to get himself back into working order so that he can go out there and play in this Game 7. And it seems like it's so weird. Like we hear that he's a game time decision. Then we see him on the ice, testing out the body, seeing how it feels, doing all these cuts and stuff, seeing if he can skate and if he feels good to maybe put himself through another game. So it's going to be all on the player here, I think. I think if Mark Scheifele, he's not going to want to miss this game. It is a Game 7. It is a win or go home situation on home ice. This guy is the heart and soul of the Winnipeg Jets. You need him in the lineup to win this game, in my opinion, because if they say go down 1-0 in the first period, they need Mark Scheifele in there on the bench, on the ice, firing these guys up, because that is what he's good at. Yes, he's a tremendous player, and he's had some great point production for this team throughout the regular season and so far into this playoffs, but this is the type of guy that when you are down and you need a guy to give you a little morale boost, he is the guy you need out there on the ice. So if they don't go into this game with Mark Scheifele in their roster, Darius, I hate to say it, but I think the Jets could lose Game 7 without him in the lineup.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens because, again, a weird series. The home team's won every single game. I think it's very interesting that the Blues have, won in blowouts every single time that they won at home, right? And then coming back home for the Jets in Game 7, you need Mark Scheifele in the lineup. And it became very obvious to me in Game 5 that the Blues were targeting, at least physically, on that side of the puck, Mark Scheifele, right? And then they got, I guess, what they were looking for here with an injury. But still, he's been out and he missed Game 6, and obviously they need him back in the lineup for Game 7 because he's been such an amazing player for the Jets this season. But again, it's been a weird one, right? We're going to touch on the home and away stuff. I mean, like, I find that, I found in this series that, the home team obviously always winning the games, right? But again, like I mentioned, blowouts on one end in St. Louis, I should say, with the St. Louis Blues winning a lot of games by a big score. In Winnipeg, they've been very close games. The Jets have won the games, but they've been very close. So I imagine Game 7 is going to be more of the same. But one thing that we have to touch on, and everyone is touching on this, in the media, fan bases, all of it, we got to talk about it. I know Jets fans don't want to talk about it. It's Connor Hellebuyck. This guy is one of the best goaltenders year in, year out in the regular season. He'll probably win the Vezina Trophy this season again. he cannot get it done in the playoffs, and it's becoming very apparent this season. I mean, on the road in this playoff series, he hasn't finished a game on the road in this playoff series, right? He hasn't been in net to close out a game. So he's been pulled in all 3 games. What are your thoughts on Connor Hellebuyck, his playoff performance, even dating back years? I mean, look at some of these stats here. Absolutely horrendous. We'll get into some more advanced analytics in a second, but what are your initial thoughts on Connor Hellebuyck in this series?
It's one that I did not anticipate going into this playoffs because of how good he was playing in the regular season when this team was undefeated to start the year. This guy was on fire. I mean, he's up for the Vezina, probably the favorite to win that trophy this year. So you're having a Vezina winning goaltender, a top candidate for it just this season, coming into this playoffs with a huge mental block on the road. It seems in his last 6 starts on the road, he's 0 for 6, and he has some horrendous numbers, and it's stuff we're not used to seeing out of Connor Hellebuyck. We're used to seeing this guy play so good in the playoffs, and the reason they don't win series is because they don't have the offense. But it's the complete opposite this year. Their offense is there, they're scoring goals, but on the other end of the ice, there's some weak stuff going in. Yes, there's some goals that he can't stop, but there have been some opportunities. And I know Jets fans watching this that say, hey, he should have had that one. Like, that stuff that's happened just on the road this series, that he doesn't really keep this team into the game. And do I think Hellebuyck is a great goaltender? Do I think he's one of the best in the league? Yes, I do. I just think he has a mental block right now, and he needs to find a way to overcome this. And I know we've seen some quotes from Nikolai Ehlers and some players saying we still have full faith in Bucky, and I think that they do. I just think he needs to get this series win just to kind of wipe his slate clean and go into the next round with a fresh mindset. I think, they're gonna be a hard team to beat at home. Like you said, the home teams won every game in this series. With the whiteout in Game 7 in Winnipeg, it's gonna be electric. So hopefully we can see Hellebuyck show up to play.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough environment for the St. Louis Blues to come into because the crowd is going to be absolutely insane. And again, like, Winnipeg's won every single game at home in this series, but I think there is something to be said about the goaltending. He's been better at home, but this is something I wanted to bring up. Everyone's talking about how bad he's been away. We'll get to this in a second, right? If you look at this, how bad he's been on the road, and this is his entire playoff stats versus regular season. Again, he's 5-11 in the playoffs, goals against average of over 4, save percentage of under 900. I mean, you're not going to win many games like that. But the biggest thing that stands out to me, it's not just him on the road. Like, he's 3-0 at home, but look at some of these stats. The goals against average, not that bad at 2.33, not horrible. His save percentage is still 879 at home. That, you're not going to win too many games with that. So if you take everything into account, Casey, the one thing that I've been thinking about in this series is, if you really put everything together and think about it, the Jets were missing Velarde to start the series. They were also missing Ehlers. These guys came back. Kyle Connor's playing out of his mind. They're getting the offense, right? The fact that it is going to Game 7, I think, is just a testament to how good this team actually is, because, nobody was really talking about how they were missing 2 guys right out there. That wasn't, put out there. The main story in this series has been Connor Hellebuyck and the fact that he hasn't finished the game on the road. But, everything in terms of all the stats, if you look at this series, favor the Winnipeg Jets still in this Game 7. So what's your final prediction on this Game 7? I love a Game 7, right? We all do, especially if our teams are not playing in it. But what is your prediction on this Game 7? Who do you think is going on to the second round?
It's going to be interesting, man, because this St. Louis Blues team was on fire towards the end of the season, and they've been so hot here towards the beginning of this playoffs, especially at home. And, I mean, it's going to be a tough test for the Winnipeg Jets. They've been dealt a tough hand here with Mark Scheifele potentially being out of the lineup, but I do think we see clutch Kyle Connor, come into this game with an extra chip on his shoulder and just fire up the crowd. And once they get that momentum in that building, it's going to be hard to overcome for St. Louis. So I got Winnipeg taking this game.
I think it's a good choice, right? And I think a lot of people would take Winnipeg, and they're still the odds-on favorite to win this game. They've been great at home. They've won every single game at home. That's been, the story of the series besides Connor Hellebuyck. But I do have to say, I think and I'm sorry, Jets fans, I know you guys have been watching our content and the support has been unbelievable on the channel. I have to say, I think it's the St. Louis Blues, and I said it from the beginning. I thought the Blues were going to win this series in 7, and the reason for that is because Connor Hellebuyck, yes, he's 3-0 at home. His stats haven't been that good still. I think the Blues are going to find a way to win. And when you put Connor Hellebuyck versus Jordan Binnington, we've seen it earlier this season at the Four Nations face-off in a winner-take-all game, Jordan Binnington always shows up in those moments. He's been making the key saves when things do leak through his defense, right? Can't say the same for Connor Hellebuck at the other end of the ice. Is it a mental block? We can talk about it till we're blue in the face, but it's something. It's something, and he's not able to come up with those big saves in the playoffs. So I'm taking Blues in 7. It's going to be interesting. Let us know in the comments, because we know we got a lot of Blues fans, subscribe to the channel. A lot of Jets fans subscribe to the channel. So let us know in the comments who you got in Game 7 and
comments
why.
Are gonna be electric.
Oh, the comments are love the support. Everybody's support on the channel has been unbelievable. So let us know in the comments who you think is going to win and why, and try to be respectful. Don't go at each other too much. Let the players do that on the ice tomorrow night. Should be a good Game 7. Let us know what you think in the comments, and if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything going on around the league, the Winnipeg Jets, and of course St. Louis Blues as well.